I've gone over 470 plus days cumulatively on NoFap and even cured my corn-induced ED within 1 week. And now I help men do the exact same in half the time without all of the trial and error. Now, in today's video, we are talking about, and you see the title here, we're talking about changing your brain chemistry and, of course, rewiring your brain from all of the lust and everything that they've taught you and wired you to be. And what you have to realize is lust is not the problem. It's where you're sending that energy towards. Now, number one, don't kill the drive, control it. And this is a huge one, right? Because even this title and this idea kind of suggests that you need to change the desires that you have within you, right? You need to change these things so that you're not so, oh, I see this, I want to go after this. I see this, I want to go after this. Basically, to make you, I would say, almost just, a person that doesn't feel anything, right? You just do when you don't have these urges or these desires. And to me, it makes no sense, right? Because how you have to look at it is the reason we have these things, right? These were programmed and wired into us because it allows us to have the motivation, the discipline, the desire to go conquer what we need to conquer in this world, right? It's literally raw energy. And we don't want to erase the raw energy. We want to channel it to the things that are actually beneficial towards us, right? Fitness, work, anything that you want to achieve. And this is why a lot of people get stuck, because they think that they shouldn't have these desires or these feelings when, to be honest, right, if you're a man and you have desires for a woman, that's natural. But what you need to do is channel that energy to actually achieve the type of partner, be the type of man that can achieve and get the type of partner that you actually want. Now, number two, observe the conditioning around you. And this is huge because you think and look around the world, right? And you see there's so many things that want to trip up men with lust, right? What do you see? You look at, let's take Instagram, for example. So, of course, what do they show you on the Explore page? The most wild things out there because they want to keep you on the platform longer, serve you more ads so they make more money, right? And then what happens there? Even the ads that you see on the platform are crazy, right? You see things on there that are, it's wild, right? You see, right, women on there, all these different things that you wonder, how are they even passing on ads? How are they even able to show these type of ads? Because they're so vulgar and basically, right, they're designed to attract your attention and to get you even more hooked on the platform. So it might not even be necessarily you're scrolling right on something, but you just end up, boom, scrolling and you see an ad. And then what happens? You kind of go down that path to where most men end up, right, getting addicted to the hub, for a better term is what we'll call it. Right, but really how you even look at, even outside of that, on the TV, right? A lot of people's introduction was, right, even things that they saw on TV, and even think about the music too. You listen to any of these songs nowadays, what are they talking about? Has to do with women, right? Has to do with illicit substances, right? Having a ton of partners. And again, whatever you want to do is your business, but just take a step back and actually observe what type of conditioning is being done to you, right? Everything is hyper lust, and it really conditions men to crave, right, these type of artificial highs, because that's all it is, right? It's a spike in dopamine that you're getting, but it's not real dopamine, right? It's what we call cheap dopamine, which is things that you really don't have to work for. When you go outside, let's say you approach a girl and then you get her number, that's some real dopamine, right? You really worked for it. But it's dangerous when you can just sit in your room, right, and not do anything, right, not get in shape, eat healthy, build businesses, make more money. And it's really dangerous that you can do nothing, right, and just be on your phone and then be able to get that dopamine, because it kind of trains you in a way to where you don't want to do the work, right? You don't want to do the work necessary to become that type of man, because you can just get that cheap dopamine right there and not even have to do anything. Now, obviously, it's all pixelated, right? And you're not actually in the real world, and you're just wasting your own time, but that's really the truth in what it is, right? And really these controlled exposures, right, is what I'll call it. It's, we have to call it out and say that this is not normal, right? These things are put here on purpose, right? To make money off of you, to benefit off of you. So observing and actually understanding what's around you and in your environment is one of the first steps. Now, number 3, we need to tweak your inputs, right? So I always talk about inputs and outputs, right? Input are the things you control, and output are things you cannot control, right? They just pretty much happen. So inputs in this case, right? You don't necessarily need to delete every app. Oh, I forgot even dating apps too, right? That was another one. But you don't have to delete every app, right? But you need to tweak these things so that maybe you don't see such crazy images. Maybe it's hidden not interested on certain stuff, right? Maybe just not watching, right, certain movies or TV shows, whatever it is, right? But you have to control how you use these things. Because if you don't, you've probably already been down the line to where things can get out of control very quickly. And especially because you don't have to do any type of work to get the dopamine, it just makes it that much easier. It's just like ordering food online, right? How easy is it to order food online nowadays? You don't have to really go anywhere. Of course, you have to have the money to pay for it, but you can just go somewhere, order the food, and then boom, you're good. So you have to notice the shift that's kind of happening in today's society. And even think about this, right? On social media, for example, one thing you could do, right? You can unfollow certain accounts, right? You can mute accounts, right? But you need to curate your environment, especially on the phone, so that's conducive to your success and becoming the type of man that you want to become, right? Because really this exposure, what happens is you can move in the direction you want to or further away, right? And when you curate your feed, right, you kind of tweak all of these things so that they're not just crazy, right, triggers and you're seeing all these things. But once you take a step back and let's say you go all the way and you do quit, which most of you guys are not going to do, right? You go all the way and you quit. What you notice is that you were kind of conditioned to feel like this all of the time, right? To always kind of be on that timing, versus if you take a step back, the urges are just not as strong because you've curated it so where you don't have all of these triggers. But yes, of course, you still have the energy, but you can now use that energy to where, basically where you want to put it into. And if you're interested in getting greater control, you want a step-by-step guide to walk you through exactly what you need to do to get control. Learn how I went over 470 plus days, cured the corn-induced ED, all of these things after years and years of trial and error. I packaged it all, and click the link in the description below to grab my course where it breaks down everything you need to know. Over 14 years of knowledge put into there. So check it out. Now, number 4, get around real people. Man, we always talk about real dopamine. Man, go get around some friends. Go do some social activities. Get around some real people so that you can actually have some fun, right? And get some real dopamine, right? Make some real connections. And it kind of just trains your mind to get you out of that state to where a lot of times people get stuck to where, they're lonely, they're kind of by themselves, and they're just not socializing, not doing what they need to do, right? And remember, isolation amplifies everything, right? It amplifies fantasy, cravings, all these things, right? So, and a lot of you have probably noticed it too. Let's say you go and you meet a friend or you're with a group of friends. What happens is you don't have the same sort of urges that you had before. And a lot of times people wonder why, but it's because this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? Your brain is literally working how it's supposed to be doing. And it's not, you're not supposed to be by yourself all of the time. And that's one thing I think a lot of people have is a gap kind of in their life, right? You have social media, you have all these things that we can, right, use our time, kind of satisfy ourselves and not really socialize as much. But you notice when you do these types of things, it becomes that much easier. Right? And of course, when you have these conversations, I'm telling you, it just tends to destroy those dopamine loops. Now, number 5, train your body. Simple as that, right? As men, your body, your physique, right, matters. It affects your confidence, how you carry yourself in the world, probably, even the type of decisions that you'll make in your life, right? Because confidence dictates a lot. If you think you can do something, then you'll have a lot better chance at achieving that type of outcome than if you just have low self-esteem, you're out of shape. And that's really one of the easiest things. Like, I really think all of you should at least be in shape, be on point, you know, be either lifting weights or running or whatever your thing is that you like to do, right? But you should have muscles and be in shape, because it's unacceptable, especially in 2025, to be out of shape. It's just crazy, right? And obviously, when you do these things, again, we're talking about that real dopamine. Let's say you go for a 5-10 mile run. I bet you feel great afterwards, right? You're like, man, I really went out there. I did it, right? You lift the heavy weights. You're like, all right, I did it, right? And your body changes, your brain changes, and also people look at you differently. You don't think you'd attract the type of partner that you want if you do that, right? But instead, you're over there getting the cheap dopamine. You're basically in a loop, right? Because you're just not as motivated. You're getting the cheap dopamine, right? You're releasing, relapsing, and you're just in this crazy cycle that you can't get out of. Now, number 6, build a life worth obsessing over. Now, the whole idea of this is that we want to cater and build a life that you don't have to escape from, right? Because the thing is, right now, you don't have what you want. You're not in the place that you want to be. And you're using this as an escape and a coping mechanism, right? So you're trying to detach and get away from something, right? There's something there. And what it also means is that there's a deficit in your current setup of your life. And everyone is different, right? Like I said, some people, it could be isolation, right? There's a million different things that you could be using to cope for this. But realizing this and realizing that you can literally build a life that you get real dopamine from, right? You can have the partner that you want to have. You can make the money that you want to have. All of these things, right, are possible, but you have to put in the work, and you can't let lust dictate all of your decisions, right? You can't always let it dominate your thoughts, but you need to take that energy and basically transmute it into what you want to use it for. Number 7, consistency rewires you. Now, really, the success in all of this is consistency over a period of time, and ideally a long period of time. Because what happens is your brain changes, right? And you're always wiring in one direction. You're wiring in the direction you want to go, or from away from where you want to go, right? So if you're on social media, dating apps, all these different things, you're probably going in the terrible direction, right? But if you're taking a break, you're getting the real dopamine, you're working out, then your brain is wiring in the correct direction. And it's not about going for streaks, counting days. It's about lifestyle, right? How can I make this lifestyle something that I enjoy doing, right? And eventually you'll master this, right? But it takes time, and you need to go step by step. And if you're interested in learning more and want that step by step, someone to lay out the steps for you, over 14 years of knowledge condensed into a course, click my link in the description and click this next video on the screen if you're interested in learning more about this topic.